Okay, this is Eric's backyard, and just a little bit of documentation of what's going on here. I've been working on this for about 2 years. Since Hurricane Katrina, before Hurricane Katrina, you come out, you wouldn't see this tree line. These 3 or 4 big trees were part of a whole forest of trees. This tree line would have been solid all the way across here, just 70 foot to 150 foot trees all the way across. And of my 70 to 150 foot trees, we lost 200 of them. So it was bad. And the ones that are on the ground, I probably got 75 of them still left on the ground. Like here's a pine that, even though it didn't lay all the way down, the damage from Katrina killed it. So there's the top rotted. Here's one here, been down since Katrina. I don't know if you can see that. And you can see the tops of those are really sickly where they've been killed. Parts of the trees are alive. Some of them are just dead. That tree right there sticking up in the middle is just dead. And I'll get it all straightened out eventually. Yeah, like I say, I had a 200 down and there's only 75 left on the ground, I think. But see, there's a pretty oak. All right, here's a trail that I used to access all this, and here at the beginning of the trail is some saw palmettos. These last maybe 2 weeks ago were completely covered with vines, and I had to come out here. It took me 3 or 4 days just to clear the vines off of these saw palmettos, carefully cutting them with my pruners and pulling them out. And they're still not complete, but I'll get it straightened out. They're not even standing up yet. I'm trying to get them to stand up. All right, going down this trail, and I've cleared it out to where you can walk without poking yourself in the eye through here. But on the sides, I'm actually trying to just clear the limbs off. I'll come back here with my pruners and I'll do the whole acre, but I'll just take all these little branches and cut them off with my pruners, and they'll come out looking pretty nice. In fact, look at that, it's beautiful through there. Here's another area I've been working on recently, trying to get the vines out of this tree. This tree had, it must have been 300 or 400 vines going up it, and they were absolutely killing it. Oh, in fact, here, this little tree right here was completely covered in vines. And as I was pulling the vines out, it smelled like incense where I was breaking limbs off of the tree. This is a sweet bay tree. If you go to the grocery store and get bay leaves at the grocery store, that's where they come from, sweet bay. And I didn't know I had one of those. I've been just cooking my gumbos and my beans with regular loblolly bay leaves, which don't have as much flavor. In fact, after I found that, I started looking around, and this log had a tree under it. And don't ask me how I did it, but I got it out from under there. This tree was laying down. Now I got it propped up. Maybe it'll live. It's another bay tree, sweet bay. Okay, coming through here, I've cleared this all out around these 3 really large oaks. My favorite oak is on my property. I don't even have a trail to it yet. It may not, because it goes so close to the neighbors. If I cleared a trail all the way to the tree, I'd be able to see houses, and I really don't want to see houses here. But this is probably a 400-year-old oak. Look how big that is. And oak trees are only supposed to be live oaks are only supposed to be about 80 feet tall. And I've estimated this one at 100 feet tall. And I may be wrong on my estimate, but I know that's a live oak. There's another one right next to it. And kind of got a trail going to it already. A live oak this size can produce 1,000 pounds of acorns in a year. They only fruit every 2 years, but if you collect 1,000 pounds of them, you'll have enough acorns to hold you over for a while. Plus, I don't know if they all fruit in the same years. I think, you know, I'll have live oaks fruiting this year, and then next year other ones will fruit. Okay, it's hard for me to walk and point this, so if the camera looks like it's going everywhere. I've got a lot of these in here, and I didn't plant them. They're the wild version of a blueberry, huckleberry. Now I have planted a few trees. There's a fig. Initially, I was only going to have native species in the back and have fruiting trees in the orchard up front, but I've kind of relaxed on that. These are not invasive, so I can plant any kind of a fruit tree that's non-invasive. I'll plant back here. That's a persimmon tree, also known as deer heroin, because deer absolutely walk right into sights of a gun to get to persimmons. Alright, coming across here. Now actually leaving my property. I think right about here. I'm no longer on my property, but I've cleared this off because the owners have, last time I saw the owners was 15 years ago, and they wouldn't even get out of their car to walk it. And the real estate market's kind of tanked here since Hurricane Katrina left 100 zillion lots open for sale. And those are cleared lots. There's a fig tree I planted, another persimmon tree. Okay, this here is kind of the end. This goes off onto somebody else's property. I've got several trails, maybe 100 feet or 200 feet of trails across other people's property, but it's basically just empty lots, wooded lots. And this trail here leads back to my front yard. This is what I call my backyard. My backyard's 1 acre and my front yard's 1 acre. And it's split by a creek. This is real pretty through here. That's my house. The house is in the front yard, other side of the creek. I don't think I've ever brought anybody back here. Maybe my wife. Wife came back once, but she's not into the same things I'm into. Jimmy Johnson walked it with me before. Yep, there's my house. You can hear me splashing. I'm not in the river. The creek is only 5 or 10 feet wide at the most, but the wet area around it's about 50 feet wide. And there's my greenhouse, and on the other side of the greenhouse is my chicken house. And you can hear the chickens crowing, roosters, and there's some of them running around in the yard. But see, you can see my neighbor's house here and my house. So the front yard is basically public access. When I want solitude, I go into the backyard. Can't see any construction from there.